Let's make a super fast gun cleaning video. For this you will need a gun, you will need a rod, you will need a patch holder, you will also need a brush, you will need a CLP, and you will need some patches, smaller ones for the barrel, larger ones for the gun in general, and also some swabs. Make sure the gun is unloaded. When you have disassembled the gun, you are left with the gun with the barrel, and you also have the slide. We start by the barrel. We put a soaked patch to the gun, to the barrel. The patch is soaked with CLP. We let that sit. When you're done that, we let it sit, and then we clean the rest of the gun before going back to the barrel. For the sake of the video, I will just go ahead and run a brush through the bore. The brush is also soaked in CLP. This is my solution for today. You can run other solvents, other solutions. If you choose to run a pure solvent, remember to oil it afterwards. Now that I have run the brush through the bore 5-6 times, I will run another soaked patch through the bore. Now that we have run the brush through the bore, we have run one soaked patch through the bore, and then another dry one, then a soaked one, and now the final dry one through the bore. You will want to run a dry patch through the bore so that there is no oil left over inside of the barrel. Then we take a larger patch with some CLP on it and wipe down the action of the gun. You will not want to spray anything inside of the action of the gun. If you use a slightly wet patch, you make sure that nothing gets where it should not be. So don't spray anything inside of the gun. When you're done cleaning the gun, you can apply a small amount of CLP on a patch and wipe down the entire gun, the entire frame, to leave a protective layer. Next we have the slide. Same thing here. We do not want to spray anything onto the slide. We want to apply it to a patch and wipe it off, especially inside of the firing pin channel here. We do not want to get anything inside of there. So you can, if you can try to avoid that, it's great. You can use Q-tips or swabs to get into smaller areas of the gun that are hard to reach. You also want to make sure that you get everything out from beneath the extractor here, so that the extractor can get a firm hold of the cartridge after the gun is fired. If you want, you can use a specialized tool for the job, or a toothpick or something like that. Just make sure that you get under the extractor. When you're done cleaning, we apply a small amount of CLP to the patch and we wipe off the exterior to protect the finish and to give it a light layer of oil if any is needed. But we do not want to see any oil dripping off of the slide or the frame. Most guns have some friction areas. We can see that there are some marks here on the front of the slide, and there are also some rails here where the slide and the frame meets. So I will add some oil to these parts. That was way too much. Like that. Now we can reassemble the gun. You might want to wipe off any excess oil, lubricant that is present on the gun. And now we have a perfectly clean gun. I forgot to mention that if you run a pure solvent or a bore cleaner or something like that through the gun, you will want to use a CLP or a protective oil on the areas where you have used the solvent. The solvent does not contain enough protectant, so do that in case you use a pure solvent. You don't need to do that if you use a CLP. That is, if you use a CLP for the entire procedure.